Okay, so we are going to do a full story video. A full story video is when I sit down and take a bunch of videos that tell one overarching storyline and combine them together into one big video. Today's full story video is going to be Batman: The Return of Bruce Wayne. This was a storyline where we saw Bruce Wayne coming back into DC Comics. Bruce Wayne was killed off by Darkseid in Final Crisis, and we were left to believe that he actually was dead, and we were not going to see him ever again, to only find out he was alive, but also in the past, leaving us wondering how Bruce Wayne will get back to the present day. If he did, could this bring the end of time, or could he be the key to the return of Darkseid? Okay, so we're going to continue our coverage over Grant Morrison's Batman, and we pick up with Batman: The Return of Bruce Wayne. This was a very important book, and the reason why, because when it came to Final Crisis, in that event, we saw the death of Bruce Wayne. It was very huge because it left the rest of the Bat family to take up different mantles in the Bat family. So for example, Dick Grayson became Batman, Tim Drake became Red Robin, Damian became just Robin, Stephanie Brown became Batgirl. You had a lot of changes. Now with that being said, we already knew that there was no way DC was going to let Bruce Wayne stay dead for a long period of time. And so when it came to Final Crisis, at first we were left to believe he did die, but at the end of that storyline we found out he didn't die. Matter of fact, he was just sent back in time. Now, the rest of the Bat family caught on because they found clues to figure out, oh my god, Bruce is alive, he's just stuck in the past. And the question is, what point in the past is he stuck at? And how in the world are they going to bring him back to the present day? That was a very important thing. And so this storyline right here is really more of Bruce Wayne just traveling through time, but you do have heroes trying their best to find Bruce, to save him and bring him back to the present day. And so that is why the storyline is so important. Now, when it comes to our coverage, there's going to be 3 videos. Each video is going to contain just 2 books of this storyline because each book is somewhat longer than your usual comic. And so it gives us time to really dive in deep into each book, but at the same time, not rush over different things so we can fit all 6 in one video. And so to begin today's storyline, we have to jump so far back in time that we pick up with some cavemen. Now, when it comes to these cavemen, they just found a spaceship or some kind of rocket. Now, at first, they have no idea what this rocket is. As a matter of fact, they believe it must be part of the sky because it fell out of the sky, and they're trying to figure out what in the world is going on here. Now, when it comes to these cavemen, they belong to a certain tribe known as the Deer People, or the Deer Tribe. Now, the reason why they're here is they're looking for an old man because the youngest member of their party is about to go on a vision trip. Here's the thing, they cannot find the old man to begin that trip. But what they do find, actually, is Bruce Wayne. And they're wondering, who in the world is this guy? Because he's just standing there, and of course, they're having a hard time understanding what he is trying to say. And so, unfortunately, they cannot communicate with each other at all. But when it comes to the old man that they were looking for, they find him, except he is dead. Now, when they find his dead body, right next to his dead body were 3 symbols that belong to, well, our big 3 heroes: Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Now, we know as the readers what those symbols mean. But when it comes to these cavemen, they have no idea what these symbols mean. And matter of fact, when it comes to Bruce Wayne, they call him Man of Bats because all the bad things around him, all the bad symbols. Now, with that being said, you have the Deer tribe here accept Batman as one of their own. Now, with that being said, on the dead man body, they do find a necklace. Now, when it comes to this necklace, it belonged to a woman who's part of their tribe. And so their goal is to keep the necklace close to them until they are able to return the necklace back to its rightful owner. But either way, you do have the Deer tribe and also Batman begin to set up a campsite here to just spend the night until they're able to leave in the morning. And so while you have our characters here just minding their business, well, that is the moment where they are being ambushed by another tribe. Now, when it comes to this other tribe, they belong to the Blood tribe. And the Blood tribe is being led by one particular member, and that would be Vandal Savage. Now, around this point in DC's timeline, he already found the meteorite that gives him his immortality, but it also gives him the ability to be very intelligent. Now, with that being said, you do have Vandal Savage tell his fellow cavemen to attack the Deer tribe, to kill them off, to get the necklace, but he also wants to get Batman's bat belt and also get Batman as well, because one member of the Blood tribe overheard the Deer tribe talk about Batman in a very particular way, but also the necklace as well. Now, while the fight is going on, you do have Batman and the young boy who was supposed to go on the vision trip get away, but then Batman jumps back into battle to hopefully stop Vandal Savage. Unfortunately, he lost that battle and he does get taken in as a hostage. Now, when it comes to Bruce Wayne being held as a prisoner, well, while being a prisoner, that is the moment where he begins to have these visions. Now, when it comes to these visions, he's basically seeing the bat symbol over and over again. And the point of these visions is to remind him that he used the bat symbol as a way to bring fear into Gotham, to bring fear towards the criminals of Gotham City, and use that as a way to fight against injustice. Now, while he was having those visions and being a prisoner, the young boy who was supposed to go on a vision trip finally comes back for Bruce Wayne and frees him. Except when we see the young boy is wearing a nice set of weapons and armor that all have the bat symbol all over them to show that he's now a follower of Bruce Wayne. Or in his words, I'm a follower of the man of the bats. And so it's kind of like saying a new tribe is born, the Bat tribe. Either way, you do have our two characters being able to get away and plan an attack in the morning against the Blood tribe. And so when Vandal Savage does wake up, well, he realized that Bruce Wayne is no longer there, and he freaks out. Except right when he does freak out, that is when you have Bruce Wayne return, and that leads into a battle between the two of them. Now, when it comes to their battle though, you see Batman dressed in a way where it's kind of like, yes, I am now the man of bats. Now, Batman does not remember everything about his life in the present day, but he does have an idea that the bat symbol is very important to him in some kind of way. Either way, you have Batman being able to take down Vandal Savage and the rest of the members of the Blood tribe who's part of this party. It was a successful ambush on Bruce Wayne and the young boy who was trying to go on his vision trip. Now, you do have Bruce Wayne and the young boy walk away from the rest of the members of the Blood tribe. Now, that is the moment where you do have the members of the Blood tribe try to sneak up on Bruce Wayne and the young boy. Unfortunately, their plan does not work out very well. And the reason why, because you have Bruce and the young boy just go ahead and jump into this waterfall that leads to a different area of this jungle or forest, whatever. Either way, once you have the young boy being able to swim back to the surface, well, Bruce Wayne is gone. It seems like he had just vanished. But getting back over to Vandal Savage, well, we kind of find out the rest of the members of the Blood Tribe have begun the process of trying to move away from him. And the reason why, because of the solar eclipse. They believe it has to be some kind of sign to show that Vandal Savage can no longer be their leader, that he's not capable of being a great leader, on top of him failing to stop the Man of Bat, which was Bruce Wayne. And so he has no choice but to just get away. He has been exiled from his own tribe. Now, right after Vandal Savage had been, well, exiled, well, that is the moment where we kind of find out that you have Superman, Green Lantern, and Booster Gold appear. Because, like I said earlier, the other heroes realized that Batman, Bruce Wayne, was just stuck in the past and needed someone to bring him into the present day. The problem is that when they do arrive, Bruce Wayne is no longer there. It seemed like the reason why the young boy could no longer find Bruce Wayne, why he just vanished out of nowhere, is because he's now being moved forward in time against his own will. The question is now, where? What point in time is he at right now? And can our heroes actually find him? And so we pick up with Bruce Wayne waking up at a different point in time. And when he does, he is confronted by some random young lady who just pulls him out of the water. Except right when she does that, a random creature appears and begins to attack Bruce Wayne and also this young lady. But again, we're left to wonder, what point in time is he at right now? And so this leads us into the second chapter. Now, when it comes to the second chapter of the return of Bruce Wayne, we do see Bruce Wayne still fighting against that monster. Now, we still have no idea who is this young lady who was able to pull him out of the water, but at the same time right now, he is trying to protect her. Either way, you do see Batman go toe-to-toe with this monster to only have this section end with us wondering what happened to Batman and this random monster. Now, when he does wake up, he is confronted by the same woman. Now, again, we have no idea what her name is, but apparently he was able to do something with that monster. He survived his attack, but she was able to bring him back to her cabin, where she began the process of trying to take care of him. Now, with that being said, she does tell him that, listen, go ahead and get some rest, but either way, I'm going to be here to love you. And that right there is very important. It shows that she already has feelings for him. But the question is now, why? And so then we pick up with some heroes who have arrived at the Vanishing Point. When it comes to the Vanishing Point, is right at the end of all time, literally meaning that in a few minutes the Vanishing Point is going to disappear, and when it does, that means that time has officially ended, and that is very important to mention. Now, with that being said though, we do see that Superman, Green Lantern, Booster Gold, and Rip Hunter came here to hopefully find some kind of way to find Batman in the past. And this is a great idea because all time is recorded here at this point. As a matter of fact, they are confronted by the Archivist. And when it comes to the Archivist, he explains how time works. That yes, you did have one string, one timeline, but time is constantly just branching off into other timelines, to other realities. And sometimes those realities intersect with one another to make some kind of cube. Now, with that being said, is Superman looking at this and trying to figure out how can they use this as a way to hopefully find Batman? And that is the big question right now. But getting back over to Bruce Wayne, we kind of find out that he had arrived in the Paleolithic era of time. Now, around this time, people were really big on witch hunting, meaning that if you did anything that was not normal, you would be instantly accused of being a witch or doing something demonic. Now, with Batman being in this era of time, he also forgot who he is. And so he does call himself Brother Mordecai. Now, when it comes to Mordecai, he was actually a witch hunter in Gotham. He just disappeared. And so with him being gone, it gave Bruce the chance to pretend to be him as a way to fit into Gotham. Now, with that being said, he still has to be a witch hunter, and so every once in a while he will get called for different kinds of missions or different kind of cases to basically investigate. Like right now, you have a lady say that something demonic happened to her house. There was a bat that was stuck to the wall of her home, and so she began to freak out and feel like her home is now haunted. Now, while you have Bruce just walking around, he realized that all the clues that are left out right now prove that nothing demonic truly happened here. It's really more of this lady trying to hide the idea that she killed off her husband Matthew. And you have Batman say, listen y'all, go ahead and take her away, but not because she's a witch, really more of just being a murderer. She killed off her husband and tried to play the witch game. Someone did something demonic to her home that ended up killing her husband. In reality, it's not true. And we come to find out that there was another witch hunter in Gotham, and that would be Malice. Now, when it comes to Malice, he's really more the opposite of Bruce Wayne. And what I mean by that, like I said earlier, this was the time where if you did anything that was not normal, instantly you'll be called a witch or some kind of demonic being. And that's very important. And the reason why, because when it came to that lady earlier that Bruce Wayne was investigating, Bruce said, no, she's not a witch. She's just somebody who killed off her husband. But to Malice, he's more of, no, that's not normal. What lady would kill off her husband just like that? No, she has to be a witch. Now, Bruce Wayne saves her from being killed off because, again, they believe that she is a witch, but it's also Malice saying, I'm watching you very closely, Mordecai, because I feel like you're not truly here to help get rid of the evil things in Gotham City. Now, that is the moment where we do see Bruce Wayne go back and meet up with the lady we saw earlier that was able to pull him out of the water, where we kind of find out her name is Annie. Now, when it comes to Annie, she lives in the woods by herself. She does not live in Gotham City, but word around the street is she could be a witch or not a witch. Either way, she stays to herself. Nobody talks to her, and she does not talk to anyone else. Now, with that being said though, when it comes to Bruce Wayne, he's very concerned about the idea that sooner or later, the people of Gotham could come after her. And the reason why, because they have been unable to harvest any kind of crops at all. And so that right there scares the people of Gotham, which means that sooner or later, they might come to her just because they believe that she is a witch and she has done something to their crops. Now, with that being said, when it comes to Annie, she's not concerned at all. But you have Bruce tell her, no, you have to understand, Malice will come after you. But at the same time, he is afraid that people might find out his real name. Now, that's really huge right there, because we're left to wonder, what is Malice's real name? Now, you do have Annie take Batman back to that cave. And the reason why, because that cave is something very important to Bruce. He's left to figure out why this cave is so important, because let's not forget, he forgot who he is. And so for some reason, this cave is bringing back a lot of different things to the mind of Bruce Wayne. Now, this could be the Batcave that he'll technically built underneath Wayne Manor. But again, we have no idea. Now, out of nowhere, he is attacked by the same creature we saw earlier. Now, you have Batman try his best to fight against this creature, but Annie realized that Bruce might lose this battle. And so what she does, she leaves the cave to go find help, to hopefully get enough help to take care of this monster. Except when she does go to find help, she runs into Malice, the person that Bruce Wayne told her that she should be very concerned about, because the guy seems like right now he's on one heck of a witch hunt. And if he feels like you're some kind of witch, he will try his best to go ahead and kill you off. Now, with that being said, he does grab her because he believes that she is a witch because she lives in the forest. Now, here's the thing about Annie though. We are left to believe that she actually is a witch. Now, With that being said, you do have Annie be grabbed by Malice and his men, and they are beginning to burn her alive, because that's what you did back then when you found a witch. The only way to make sure a witch dies is to burn her alive. Now, right before she does that, she does say his real name, because remember, Bruce said that when it came to Malice, for some unknown reason, he was very concerned about the idea of Gotham finding out his real name. And we kind of find out his real name is Nathaniel Wayne. And that means that Malice is actually a relative or an ancestor of Bruce Wayne. Now, here's the thing though, because you didn't have Annie say that she is going to curse his entire family until the end of time, which means that thanks to Malice, or really Nathaniel, is the reason why the Waynes are cursed, because what he did to her. And that is very important to mention. Now we do jump over to the Vanishing Point. Now when we do, we actually pick up with our hero still talking to the Archivist. Now here's the thing, because we kind of find out that the Archivist is actually just an older version of Bruce Wayne. Yeah, you heard that right. Now we have no idea how in the world this happened, but it seems like he's right now trying to get back to the 21st century. And the reason why, because Superman told him that, hey man, listen, when it came to Darkseid, when he sent you back in time, he turned you into a doomsday weapon. He took away everything you knew about yourself, but only left you behind with your survival instinct. And with that being said, Darkseid knew that you would try your best to get back to somewhere that you actually knew about yourself. You regained your lost memories. And once you got back to the 21st century, you would technically end all creation across time. That is what Darkseid is trying to use you for. And so you can't just jump back to the 21st century. You have to let one of us guide you back there. Now, when it comes to the Archivist, or really the evil version of Bruce Wayne, he is not listening, to the point where he does trap our heroes at the Vanishing Point. And like I said earlier, when it comes to the Vanishing Point, it's technically minutes before the end of all time. And so our heroes are about to witness, or really go through the process of the death of the universe. Now, the Archivist is an older version of Bruce Wayne, but the one who's right now traveling through time, well, after he fought that monster and told Annie to get the help, he once again jumped to a different point in time. Except this time, he jumped to the point where there are pirates around, and he does meet Blackbeard. And this Okay, so getting back into our coverage over the return of Bruce Wayne, today's video is going to start off with the third chapter of this storyline. Now remember, when it comes to Bruce Wayne, he's technically right now stuck in the past, but every single issue is him traveling forward in time until he is able to reach the present day. Now the problem is though, if he does reach the present day by himself, he will technically ruin all time across the board. And that was Darkseid's plan when Darkseid hit him with the Omega Beam and sent him back in time, hoping that Bruce Wayne would fight to get back to the present day by himself, but at the same time destroy the entire timeline of the main DC universe, or possibly the multiverse. Now, at this point in time, Bruce Wayne has arrived in the time period where you have Blackbeard, one of the most famous pirates of all time in the real world, but also in DC's comics as well. And so when we dive into today's video, we do pick up with Blackbeard, we also pick up with Bruce Wayne. Now, here's the thing, because you have Blackbeard right now very excited about the idea that he was able to sink a new ship recently. Now, when it came to this new ship, it belonged to someone known as the Black Pirate. Now, the Black Pirate was your vigilante in the world. He was out there protecting innocent people from pirates. And so when it came to Blackbeard, he was more of, okay, if there's somebody out there targeting us, then I need to be the one to get rid of him. And so he was able to sink the ship that belonged to the Black Pirate. Now here's the thing, because you didn't have Blackbeard and this man being able to pull 2 men out of the water after sinking that ship, except one of the men is Bruce Wayne. Now, we already know that Bruce Wayne is technically not the Black Pirate. And the reason why, because at the end of every single chapter is when Bruce Wayne travels to the next time point. And so when it came to the end of the last chapter, he just arrived after Blackbeard was able to sink that ship. Now, here's the thing though. You have Blackbeard say, I believe that you are the Black Pirate, but now I'm going to force you to help me out with a certain kind of task. Now, when it comes to Blackbeard, he believes that when it comes to the Black Pirate, Bruce Wayne, he believes that Bruce will be able to lead him into a cave that's right above Gotham Town. The reason why I say it's Gotham Town, not Gotham City, is because at this point in time, it was not called Gotham City just yet. Either way, when it comes to Gotham Town, there's a cave right in the outskirts of this area. And with this cave, apparently it belonged to an old tribe group known as the Miagani. Either way, there is some kind of treasure kept inside the cave that used to belong to the Miagani. And so it's Blackbeard saying that he believes that Bruce Wayne should be able to lead him and the rest of his crew inside the cave to hopefully find the treasure. And so let's not forget what I said earlier though, that there were 2 men who were pulled out of the water after Blackbeard had sunk that ship. And the other one was a guy better known as Jack Loggins. Now, when it comes to Jack, at first he does try to play the idea that he is some huge fan of Blackbeard. Now, we already know that this is really him trying to stay alive because Blackbeard wants to kill him off. But at the same time, it's Blackbeard wondering if he could use Jack as a way for ransom. Now, you have Bruce kind of help Jack out by saying, no, there's no way that you'll be able to hold this man as a ransom. And the reason why, because look at his clothes. This is a man who's not dressed with wealth. He's dressed as a poor man. And so, of course, that means there's no way you get any money out of him, even if you do try. Now, with that being said, you do have Jack tell Blackbeard more about the caves. And what Jack says is that the last time anybody came near the caves, any pilgrims, well, people who belong to the Deer tribe, they actually went inside the cave and then joined the Bat people. That apparently there is a tribe known as the Bat tribe who are right now hiding out in the caves. When it came to the Deer people, they were the last ones to go inside the cave, but then they also joined the Bat people as well. And so is Jack saying, if we do go inside the cave, most likely we'll be confronted by the Bat people. Now, as you have Blackbeard, Jack, and Bruce go deeper into the caves, this is where you have Bruce show off his detective skills, or technically his survival skills. And what I mean by that is that when it comes to Bruce Wayne, yes, he knows his way around this cave because of earlier adventures in this series, but at the same time, it's him kind of being aware of his surroundings, realizing that there could be traps placed all around these caves. Because if Jack says it's true that there are Bat people inside his cave, then they're going to try their best to basically protect their cave by setting up different traps all over the place to keep people out, like right now. Bruce, Jack, Blackbeard, and Blackbeard's crew. And now at first, when it comes to Blackbeard, when it comes to Bruce Wayne finding different kind of signs or different kind of things that he remembers doing in earlier points of the series, it's Blackbeard kind of wondering more about Bruce Wayne, that if he really is the Black Pirate or some kind of crazy man or something else even more important. Either way, it's Bruce showing that he is capable of leading an entire crew through caves and making sure no one gets hurt severely when it comes to the different traps that were placed by the Bat people. Yes, you do have some crew members of Blackbeard crew get hurt, but the thing is, they're not important. The 3 important people are Blackbeard, Jack, and also Bruce Wayne. Now, here's the thing, because we do jump back over to the present day. And when we do, we pick up with the present day Batman and Robin, which will be Dick Grayson and Damian Wayne. Now, you do have our two heroes working alongside with the Justice League. And right now, they're trying to figure out what time period that Bruce Wayne is actually kept in or trapped in right now. And the reason why, because when it came to the earlier parts of Batman Reborn, this Batman era of comics where you had all the different Batman stories kind of tell one overarching storyline, you had different characters being able to find different clues to show that Bruce Wayne was not dead, that he was actually alive, just trapped in the past. Because remember, when it came to Final Crisis and with the supposed death of Batman, the entire Bat family moved on except Tim Drake. He knew there was no way that Bruce was actually dead. And so once he was able to find different clues to show that Bruce Wayne is alive, but at the same time Bruce is right now trapped in the past, he began to bring in other heroes to kind of help figure out where is Bruce Wayne at. And so right now they're trying to find him, because if he does arrive back in the present day, then supposedly he'll win all time across the board. That is something Darkseid wanted Batman as kind of like a backup plan after failing in Final Crisis. And so when it comes to Bruce Wayne, he has to be brought over to the present day by someone else. He cannot make it by himself. Now, getting back over to Bruce Wayne, Blackbeard, and also Jack, we do see our two characters right now going deeper into the cave. Now, once they do reach a certain kind of bridge, you then have Jack pull Bruce Wayne to the side to admit something, that he is actually better known as Jack Valor, the grandson of John Valor, the original Black Pirate. And so that means Jack could be the Black Pirate. We have no idea just yet. But he does hand over the Black Pirate outfit over to Bruce Wayne. Now, while you have the two of them talking, you didn't have Blackbeard realize that something is up with them. And so with that being said, when you have Blackbeard walk over, you didn't have Bruce Wayne just fall into the river. And so this leads into Blackbeard and his crew saying, you know what, we have made it this far in the cave that we can make the rest of the trip without him. And so they try to go deeper into the cave, except when they do and try to cross a bridge, they are confronted by the Black Pirate. Now, we already know that this is Bruce Wayne right now dressed as the Black Pirate. But for Blackbeard, he's kind of like, oh my God, here's the Black Pirate. What do I do? You know what? I'm going to fight him. And so it does lead into a battle between Bruce Wayne, who is Black Pirate, fighting against Blackbeard. Now, you also have Blackbeard crew as well, but the thing is, they're in the cave still. And so with them being inside the caves, you also have the Miyagani inside there still, there to help out Black Pirate, Bruce Wayne, fight against Blackbeard's crew. And so unfortunately, when it comes to Blackbeard, well, he begins to lose this battle to Bruce Wayne. And at the end of the battle, we do see Bruce Wayne, who's the Black Pirate, being able to defeat Blackbeard, and then Blackbeard and his close ally both fall into the river. Now, once you have Bruce Wayne being able to get rid of Black Pirate, well, he's then been told, you know what, the Miyagani look at you and they feel like they recognize you. And so they're going to allow you into their sacred place in this cave. Now, when it comes to this sacred place, there is no treasure. And what I mean by that is when you have Bruce go inside the sacred place, what he finds is a shrine to himself. It's all the gear he left behind when he first began his adventure through time back in chapter 1. And so his cape and cowl, his bat belt, and also other gear. And so it's Batman realizing that and remembering that many years ago, he was here and he placed these things here, and now they're still here right now in the same cave. And so when it comes to the Bat people, they look at this as their shrine to their Bat god, which is technically Bruce Wayne. That's how crazy it is. But the thing is though, Bruce is only slowly remembering everything. But he does know that right now he has reached the tail end of his adventure at this period of time. And the reason why, because he realized that when there is a nearby eclipse, that is when he is going to basically move forward to the next time point. And right now, there is another eclipse, which means that he is about to travel forward in time. And so he does say his goodbyes to Jack. Now, before Bruce Wayne does leave, he does tell Jack two things. One is that I need you to tell the Wayne family of Gotham Town what happened here. But number two, do not stop fighting. And this is Bruce Wayne saying, become the next Black Pirate. You told me that your grandfather was the Black Pirate, but for some reason you have not taken up the mantle. I'm telling you to take up the mantle, become the next Black Pirate, but at the same time, make sure you do what I asked you to do, to tell the Wayne family about this whole adventure. Now, when it comes to Bruce Wayne leaving, after he does leave, we kind of find out that Jack did continue on as the Black Pirate. But here's the thing. He wrote in his diary that in his diary, Blackbeard did survive after being defeated by Batman, except he did die 2 months after he came out of the caves. But then after that, when it came to Jack, he met a young lady. They then moved away to Philadelphia, but then came back to Gotham Town to talk to the Waynes. Now, when it came to the Waynes, they took Jack's diary and put it inside some kind of capsule. And when it comes to this capsule, it is going to be really important for the overall story of the return of Bruce Wayne. And so just like the earlier chapters of the return of Bruce Wayne, we do get a glimpse of where Bruce Wayne has now traveled to. And we come to find out that he has now traveled to the 19th century. Now, with that being said, in the 19th century, it's more of the Western days. But on top of that, we do jump back over to Gotham Town, where we do see a group of criminals right now getting very upset about the idea that there is some new kind of vigilante out there causing a lot of problems for criminals. And so you have these guys going out of their way to recruit a mercenary, a hitman, to kill off this new vigilante. And that, well, mercenary or hitman is Jonah Hex. And so getting into the next chapter, we actually do pick up with a group of hired gunmen right now going after a particular family. Now, the reason why they're going after this family is because this family is protecting some kind of box. Now, this box is really important. As a matter of fact, we have seen this box in the earlier coverage of Batman and Robin written by Grant Morrison. Now, with that being said, when it comes to the hired guns, they do kill off the father, they do kill off the son, they let the mom live, but they do kidnap the daughter. Now, when they do leave, they leave the mom to cradle the dead body of her son, and she's praying that somebody can save her daughter, get her daughter back. And of course, that is when she's confronted by the Black Ranger, and the Black Ranger is just Bruce Wayne. We then jump over to Jonah Hex, where we come to find out that he was actually hired by Vandal Savage. Now remember, when it comes to Vandal Savage, he does have immortality. Now around this point, he was technically weak, and the reason why? Because he was fighting cancer. But the reason why he hired Hex is because of the Black Ranger, Bruce Wayne. And the reason why, because when it comes to Gotham City, Bruce, as the Black Ranger, has been causing a lot of problems for Vandal Savage and his men. And so right now it's him saying, I need you, Hex, to kill off this Black Ranger. And if you do, I will pay you a lot of gold. Now, this is where we come to find out that Savage was actually hired by somebody else. He was hired by Thomas Wayne. Now, before we dive into that right there, we come to find out that Vandal Savage and Thomas Wayne are trying to work together to figure out how to open up the box that the family from earlier were protecting, because this box has connections to the devil god better known as Barbados. Now, when it comes to Thomas Wayne, this is not Bruce Wayne's father. This is another ancestor of Bruce Wayne who basically had the same name as his father, Thomas Wayne. Now, when it comes to this Thomas, in the present day, he's better known as Simon Hurt, the leader of the Black Glove, who has always constantly come after Batman for so many different reasons. Either way, in the past, when it comes to Thomas Wayne, the reason why he's alive at this point in time is because he was confronted by a being that was created by Darkseid, better known as the Hyper Adapter. Now remember, when he came to Darkseid, he sent Bruce Wayne back in the past and was hoping that Bruce would make his way back to the present day by himself to go ahead and destroy time across the board. And when it came to the Hyper Adapter, its goal was to oversee Bruce Wayne's travel throughout time. The problem was though, when it came to Thomas Wayne, he was actually confronted by the Hyper Adapter thanks to Bruce Wayne's travel. And so because of that, when it came to Thomas, he had also gained immortality. Now, when it comes to Thomas, he's also a devil worshiper for the god better known as Barbados. And so the reason why he hired Vandal Savage and his crew was to get that box. And the reason why, because that box has clues that could lead them into learning more about Barbados. And so that is why they basically kidnapped the young girl. But the problem is though, they have no idea how to open up the box. And so this is where we do see the Black Ranger arrive. Now when he does arrive, he does try to fight against, well, Vandal Savage and also Thomas Wayne to get the young girl back, but to also get the box back as well. Now, when it comes to this battle, it does take up a few pages of this chapter. It goes on for a good period of time, but at the same time, it does go across the city of Gotham City, meaning that they do fight in one location and they go all the way somewhere else. But the thing is, at the end of their battle, it does end right next to Alan Wayne, another Wayne in this time period. Because remember, when it comes to Thomas Wayne, he gained immortality thanks to the Hyper Adapter, but that took place in the second chapter of the series. And so when it comes to Thomas Wayne, he should technically not be here at this point in time, but unfortunately he is. Just like Vandal Savage, he also should not be here in this point of time, but unfortunately he is, because both characters gain immortality in different ways. Now with that being said, even though Thomas was around, the Wayne family continue on. And so you had Alan Wayne, the guy of this time period of the Wayne family. And so when the fight ends, this man has no idea that right now he is standing next to two members of his family tree, one from the past and one from the future. Either way, you do have Batman being able, the Black Ranger, being able to defeat both Vandal Savage and also Thomas Wayne as well. And so after the battle, you do have the young girl actually be confronted by the Black Ranger. Now when she recognized him. And the only reason why, because there were stories told about this man, Bruce Wayne of course, from her ancestors, about the Batman. And she says once she looked at him, she realized that he is the Batman. And with him being the Batman, the box actually belongs to him. Now, when it comes to the box, it can only open by a certain kind of melody. And so once she's able to sing that melody, well, the box does open up. And Bruce Wayne is able to see what's inside the box. Unfortunately though, we are not told what is inside the box. Either way, when it comes to Bruce Wayne, he is so shocked in what he sees. Unfortunately, we have to guess what in the world this man saw. Except right after he sees what's inside the box, he is shot by Jonah Hex. Because let's not forget, Hex was hired by Vandal Savage and also Thomas Wayne to kill off the Black Ranger, Bruce Wayne, because he was a vigilante in Gotham City, causing a lot of problems for Vandal Savage. And so Hex was able to shoot Bruce Wayne and he falls into the river. Now, after the death of, well, the Black Ranger, you then had the story kind of wrap up very quickly. And what I mean by that is, the next page tells us that when it came to Alan Wayne, he did marry the young girl that was kidnapped by Vandal Savage and also Thomas Wayne. And that girl name is Catherine. And you have the two of them get together, get married, and they begin to build Wayne Manor. This is where Wayne Manor came from. But apparently after she had died, Well, you didn't have Alan make sure that Wayne Manor is built in a certain kind of way, a bat symbol kind of way. But on top of that, she died only after she gave birth to their child, to make sure the Wayne family tree continues on. But getting back over to Black Ranger, aka Bruce Wayne, after being shot by Jonah Hex and falling into that river, he once again traveled forward in time to the point where he does arrive in the 1930s. The problem is though, he was shot by Jonah Hex. That carried over. And so even though he did arrive in a new time period, he's still trying to survive after being shot by Jonah Hex. He also gets hit by a truck as well. And so Homeboy is going through the ringer at the moment. But the question is right now, what is going to happen to Bruce Wayne in this period of time? But this is where we are going. Okay, so to continue our coverage over Grant Morrison's Batman, we do pick up with the return of Bruce Wayne, part 5 and part 6. Now, these last two chapters are really important when it comes to Grant Morrison's run on Batman. And not just because we see Bruce Wayne come back to the present day, but at the same time, we do learn the actual plan of Darkseid. This really does wrap up Final Crisis just a couple months or a year later. And what I mean by that is, in Final Crisis, we saw Darkseid kill off Bruce Wayne, and we were left to believe that Bruce is now dead, to only find out he did not die. He was sent back in time. Now here's the thing, when it came to Darkseid, he used Bruce Wayne as a backup plan. Like he seemed to know he was going to lose in Final Crisis. But he also knew if he was able to take Bruce Wayne and put him in the past, Bruce would fight his way back to the present day. And so he technically made Bruce to be a time bullet. Because in the earlier chapters, we were told if Bruce Wayne comes back to the present day by himself and not guided by someone else, he could technically end all time across the world, which means that Darkseid could technically win. Now in these two chapters right here, we are actually told the true plan of Darkseid when it comes to Bruce Wayne. Now remember, when he does get sent back in time, when he was sent back in time, he did not remember anything from the present day at all. He had no idea who he was. Now every single time he would travel forward in time, he would remember just piece by piece of his past life as Batman. And that right there is very important because now he's kind of remembering who he is and who he was. And so he's trying to get back to the present day even more. But the problem is though, if he does that, that means he could technically be the time bullet that Darkseid wanted him to be. Now, here's the thing, in the present day, Red Robin and the Justice League are trying their best to bring back Bruce Wayne, but in a different way, trying to not allow him to come back by himself. Because again, if he does, it's game over. And so their goal is to find him and then guide him back here. Now we saw in the earlier chapters when it came to Superman, Booster Gold, Time Hunter, and I want to say Green Lantern as well, they went to the very end of time, the Vanishing Point, to find Bruce Wayne. And when they did, they were confronted by an evil Bruce Wayne. And so we know that when it comes to Bruce Wayne traveling in time, he'll reach that point right there. He'll reach the very end of time. But the question is how and why? And so getting into the opening chapters of this book, we do pick up with Tim Drake currently talking to the Justice League about everything I just told you guys a moment ago about the idea that Bruce Wayne cannot come back to the present day by himself. Now, this is where you have Red Robin tell us more information on why Batman is not allowed to come back here by himself. And he says, listen, every single time he moves forward in time, he is gaining more and more Omega energy. And once he does reach the present day and release that energy, it could be a huge problem across the board for Earth or possibly the universe as well. And so that is why they have to find him and then find a different way to bring him back to the present day without the idea of him doing some crazy thing for Darkseid. But getting back over to Bruce Wayne, we kind of find out what point in time he's actually at. And we kind of find out that he's at the point in time where the Waynes had just died possibly a couple days ago. And the reason why I'm saying that, because remember, at the end of our last chapter, our last video, Homeboy got shot. What did was push forward in time. Now, with him being shot, but also being pushed forward in time, when he did arrive, you had some random folks in Gotham take him to a nearby hospital where he was able to recover. And that is the moment he's confronted by a lady known as Marsha Lamar. Now, when it comes to Lamar, she's here to ask Bruce Wayne to be a detective, to figure out who killed off the Waynes, Thomas and also Martha Wayne. Now, the reason why, because Martha was her best friend. And so you're kind of believing like, okay, this means this chapter is going to be about Bruce Wayne trying to figure out who killed off his parents. Now, we already know who did. It was Joe Chill. But the thing is, Bruce Wayne does not completely remember everything from his past life in the present day. And so he's kind of like, wait a second, you have no idea who I am. You see me laying here in the hospital and you feel like I'll be some kind of great detective that's going to help you solve the murder case of your best friend, her husband. I mean, I guess I'm down, but it's kind of weird. And so he does join her and they begin the process of trying to figure out who killed off the Waynes. Now, the first thing we do see Bruce and Marsha do is pay a visit over to the parents of Martha Wayne. Now, this is technically Bruce Wayne meeting his grandparents, but not realizing that those are his grandparents that he is currently talking to. Either way, this is the moment we kind of find out the parents of Martha Wayne never did like Thomas Wayne at all. And the reason why? Because she heard, the mother of Martha, she heard so many dark secrets about Thomas Wayne, especially one, that he was a devil worshiper. Now, technically, she is right. There is a Thomas Wayne out there who was a devil worshiper. It's just that it's not the father of Bruce Wayne who was. There was another Thomas Wayne. Because we had learned in the earlier chapters of Grant Morrison's run on Batman, we were introduced to a character known as Simon Hurt. Now, when it came to Simon Hurt, we had learned that he was actually the ancestor of Bruce Wayne that had gained immortality. Now, how he did that was, in his past, he was confronted by a creature known as the Hyper Adapter, which of course gave him his immortality. Now, with that being said, he was also a devil worshiper. He worshipped Barbados, and for his entire life, he has been trying to find the treasure that belongs to Barbados. Now, with that being said, in the present day, he was pretending to be Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne's father. And so when it comes to the parents of Martha Wayne, they didn't meet Thomas Wayne again after he had supposedly died. They met Simon Hurt, who was pretending to be Bruce Wayne's father. And when he did pay them a visit, he told them all these different kinds of lies. Like, yeah, I'm still alive. Matter of fact, I cheated on your daughter. Oh, by the way, I do worship a devil. He spread all these different kinds of lies. And so when it comes to the parents of Martha Wayne, they're saying, listen, the dead body the cops found next to my daughter is not Thomas Wayne, it's someone else. But on top of that, I want you guys to find this man and bring him in, because I feel like he is responsible for the death of my daughter. Now, you do have Marsha take Bruce over to Wayne Manor. Now, around this point in time, Wayne Manor was actually abandoned. And the reason why? Because when it came to the younger version of Bruce Wayne, he had actually left the state, or really the country, as a way to get away from the idea that he just lost his parents. Now, she does tell our Bruce Wayne, the older version, that when it comes to Wayne Manor, it has been abandoned for months. Now, she also mentions the idea of the caves underneath Wayne Manor. Now, we have seen the caves in the earlier chapters of this series, but she says the caves underneath Wayne Manor were technically used as a way to worship a devil, of course being Barbados. Now here's the thing, she did say that this place, Wayne Manor, has been abandoned for months, except when it comes to our Bruce Wayne, he does find a secret passageway, and when he does, he realized that this was used recently, which means that she is lying. Now that is when we jump over to a character known as Carter Nichols. Now when it comes to Carter Nichols, he's meeting up with Simon Hurt, of course being the ancestor of Bruce Wayne. Now the reason why, because Simon has been paying Carter a whole lot of money and giving him different kinds of resources to be able to create some kind of time box. Now we have no idea what this time box could possibly do, but when it comes to Simon and also Carter, they are talking about the idea of time traveling. The thing is though, to what point in time? Either way, it does seem like Carter is down, and not because of the money or all the resources he has been given. It's really more the idea that Simon says, if you try to decline working for me, I will basically do something horrible to you. But then we jump back over to Wayne Manor. Now when we do see Marcia telling Bruce, or really reminding him about the society that used to worship a devil underneath Wayne's Manor, of course being Barbados. And so she believes the society is still around, and the leader of that group is the real killer of the Waynes. Now we already know the real killer of the Waynes is Joe Chill, but we are left to believe that could have been a lie. The real killer could have been the person who was actually the leader of this group. At the same time, it could still be Joe Chill. And so what she wants to do is do a surprise attack. And so she gives Bruce a costume to wear, a bat costume to wear. And the reason why, because his father used to wear these costumes at different kinds of gathering. And so he is going to pretend to be his father, while she pretends to be his mother, Martha. And the reason why, when the society arrives at their spot to do their worshiping, the leader of that group is going to see two people that he believed that he had killed. But then might think that right now he's seeing ghosts who are there to hunt him, to scare him, to make him feel guilty for what he did. And so they're hoping that it'll just scare him good enough to confess that he is the killer and the case is closed. Now this is the moment we kind of find out that this was actually a trap. That matter of fact, when it comes to this society, they're better known as the Black Glove. Now that's a name we heard of in the earlier parts of Grant Morrison's Batman run. And matter of fact, they appeared in the present day being led once again by Simon Hurt, and he was trying to use them as a way to go after Batman. And so now at this point in time, they were just some group out there who used to worship the devil like Barbados. And so with that being said, when you have Bruce appear wearing that bat costume, they are not scared of him at all. Matter of fact, they know, hey, you're here, perfect. You're part of our game plan for tonight. And before he is able to figure out what in the world is going on, he is knocked out from behind by Martha. And so it's kind of like, okay, yep, she's part of the group as well, which means that they plan on using him in some kind of way to achieve their goal to hopefully please Barbados. And so we come to find out that Bruce Wayne was actually tricked to become a sacrifice for the Black Glove. They're trying to please their devil, Barbados. They feel like if they are able to give him up, then they'll get in return eternal youth from their devil. Here's the thing, even though Bruce Wayne is right now bound to a chair, set on fire, the dude does not give up, to the point where he does break free and he grabs the time box that Carter made. Now remember, we had no idea if the time box could work, but on top of that, where it would take someone if they actually use it. And so once you have Bruce Wayne break free, he grabs that box and he's gone. Just like that, he disappeared into time and we have no idea where he went to. Now, with that being said, you could say everything is still a-okay for the Black Glove. And the reason why, because they could just get another person to sacrifice and make sure that person is wearing a bat costume. But on top of that, just have Carter create another time box. Except you have Carter say, no, I am not going to create another time box, because this man already had doubts about this group. And so after seeing what he saw and what they were trying to do, he's like, nope, I'm out of here. And matter of fact, all my secrets are not for sale. You will never learn how to create a time box, which means that your plan will always fail until you are able to find someone else who could do what I did for you. But getting back over to the present day, with the Justice League and also Red Robin, they're still trying to get ready for the idea that if Batman does arrive in the present day, that all time is ruined. And so they're trying to think of different game plans on how they are going to handle that problem. The problem is, though, Batman does appear wearing a Batman suit, but he looks completely different. Like he's kind of half cybernetic, half human. And it does look like he could be here to cause a lot of problems for the Justice League and probably the rest of the world. And so then we get into the final chapter of this book, the most complicated chapter of this book, where we see Batman arriving at the Vanishing Point. Now, the Vanishing Point is basically at the end of time. As a matter of fact, it's at the very end of time. And so in a few minutes, the end of time is about to happen. Complete destruction across the board. Now, with that being said, though, when it comes to Batman, he arrives there, he's confronted by the Archivist. Now, when it comes to the Archivist, they do inform Batman that they were able to remove the hyper adapter from him and actually keep it contained. Now, remember, the hyper adapter was sent by Darkseid as a way to torment Bruce Wayne, kind of help him move forward in time so that Darkseid plan can move a tad bit faster. Now, the hyper adapter is also the same reason why Thomas Wayne, Simon Hurt, was able to gain immortality. But here's the thing, though. When it comes to the Archivist, they know they have to send Bruce Wayne back in time to the present day. The catch is they have to make sure he does not remember anything at all. That is very, very crucial. Now, with that being said, though, the only reason why, because it'll make sure Darkseid plan does not work. This is the chapter we find out what is Darkseid's true plan is. Now, with that being said, this takes place right before our heroes who are looking for Bruce Wayne in the timeline arrive at the Vanishing Point to hopefully find him. Because remember, in the second chapter, Superman, Green Lantern, Booster Gold, Rip Hunter, they all traveled here to the Vanishing Point to hopefully find Batman. And they did find Batman, except when they found Batman, it was him being turned into an Archivist. And we were left to believe that Homeboy turned evil, and now he will go back to the present day to hopefully destroy time. We come to find out that is not completely true. Now, when they do arrive, they did come with a time spear. That time spear is going to be very important. Now, getting back to the present day, when he does arrive in the present day, this is not your normal Bruce Wayne. This is a Bruce Wayne that was infused with the technology that came from the Archivist, but also the Omega energy as well. Now, with those two things being part of him now, he's actually able to go toe-to-toe with each member of the Justice League. Now, when he does arrive, he is confronted by Tim Drake, Red Robin. Now, at this point, Tim Drake looked at Batman as a father. And matter of fact, they were so close that when Batman died, Tim Drake was the only person who believed originally that Batman was not dead. Now, after a while, once he was able to prove that Batman was not dead, other folks got on board. But that shows how close these two characters are. And so this is Red Robin just saying, hey, talk to me. Fight through what's taking over your body. We can work this out. Unfortunately, when it comes to the League, there's no time to talk. They have to take down Batman because right now, all their sensors are detecting that Omega energy, and they are afraid what could happen with that Omega energy. But getting back over to the Vanishing Point, we pick up with our heroes who were looking for Batman on the timeline, the ones who arrived at the Vanishing Point to hopefully find Batman. When they found him, Homeboy dipped out and he took their time spear, leaving them there to die at the end of time. Except we come to find out Batman made sure they also had a way to get back to the present day, because he gave them another time spear that was just under construction. And so that bubble they're trapped in is a time spear. Once it's done, our heroes now have a way to go back to the present day as well to help out the other members of the League stop Batman and to finally end all of this mayhem we have been getting in this entire series. And so getting back over to the present day, we do see the League still trying to stop Batman. The thing is, because he has tech that comes so far from the future, he is able to adapt so easily, being able to take them down so easily. And so with those different things happening, unfortunately, they're getting their butt whooped by Batman left and right. Now again, this is a Batman who truly does not remember anything at all. Now, once you have the League being defeated, you did have Tim Drake once again try to talk to Batman to help him remember who he is. Like, hey, I'm Tim Drake. I was your Robin, you're Bruce Wayne, you're Batman, the whole spiel. And once he's able to get those gears moving, it's Batman once again being able to remember his time in the present day. And then he explains why he did all of this for when it came to leaving the Vanishing Point. Now, this is where you have Diana come in, Wonder Woman, and she used the lasso of truth on him. Now, when she does, it's basically her saying, tell me everything. And he does. He said, when I arrived at the Vanishing Point, I was confronted by the Archivist. They told me they were able to contain the actual beast, better known as the Hyper Adapter, that was sent by Darkseid to follow me through time, to kind of push me in the idea of remembering everything of my past life. The thing is though, it would only stop once I had remembered everything. And so when I reached the Vanishing Point, they made sure to erase everything once again to help me out, to send me back here. And the reason why? Because the Hyper Adapter will then feel like it failed. If I did not remember everything, it was going to continue to follow me. And so the Archivist basically erased my mind once again. I forgot everything. I came here and the Hyper Adapter had to follow me here, because this is where we'll be able to actually defeat it. Now, here comes the next problem, because the Hyper Adapter is there. It's right now infused in the body of Bruce Wayne. It's now taking over the actual Archivist tech. And so this leads into another problem. But then Diana realized there's something more to this plan. And so this is where everything comes together finally. So you have Batman explain to us that when it comes to Darkseid, Darkseid is trying to come back to life. He's trying to basically come back to life after dying in Final Crisis, except he needs a host. Because remember, when it comes to gods, new or old, when they do die, their essence go over to a regular human body. And then they are able to take over that person's body as a way to become themselves all over again. We literally saw that in Final Crisis. And so this is Darkseid trying to do that once again. Like, he knew that maybe in Final Crisis he will lose. And so he had a backup plan. Now, Bruce Wayne is not the person that he has chose to use as a way to come back to life. Instead, he chose Simon Hurt, Bruce Wayne's ancestor. When it came to the Hyper Adapter, when it did confront Simon many years ago, I want to say in the 1600s, it was all for one purpose: to begin the process of Darkseid slowly taking over Simon's body. And so when it comes to the Hyper Adapter that's right now fused with the tech of the Archivist that's on the body of Bruce Wayne, is trying to leave his body, or force Bruce to find Simon and then leave Bruce to get on Simon to begin the process of bringing Darkseid back to life. Now, After a few more pages, you do have our heroes being able to actually stop this, but Batman has to help out. They have to rip the tech off of him, which they're able to do. And you would think the day is saved now because yes, Simon Hurt will no longer become Darkseid. Yes, the hyper adapter is gone. The day does seem to be saved, except that is not correct. And what I mean by that is because thanks to Bruce Wayne having that Omega energy, it now turned into Omega radiation. And so right now, Bruce is dying. And the only way to get rid of that radiation is to die. Literally, it will only leave your body after you die. That is very crucial. And so what our heroes do, they find a way to kill off Bruce Wayne. And the thing is, they'll keep him dead just long enough so that the radiation will leave his body. Once he does die, then they'll bring him back to life. The thing is, Bruce has to fight to live. If he wants to live, he has to fight for it. And at first, it seems like he's not fighting. It seems like he might die. And so Darkseid still might win in some kind of sick way by killing off Batman. Except you didn't have Tim Drake walk over. And once he does, you have Tim say, hey, Batman, Gotham City needs you. And just like that, bam, Batman gets right back up. Because when it comes to Batman, the one thing he will always wants to do is to protect Gotham City. And so as soon as he hears that, he's back up, and this leads into a series of one-shots called The Return or The Road Home. So yeah, they call Batman The Road Home, where he basically confronts different characters that were close to him in some kind of way. So Dick Grayson, Damian, Tim Drake, Selina Kyle, all those different characters. And then it leads us right back into Batman and Robin Must Die, the second half of that storyline. But with that being said, this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.